Yeah, I should have done that yesterday.
Yeah. And I started it on default to record, so I don't even have to make a decision.
Very cool. Well, just as we started yesterday, things are changing daily.
Yes, they are. What's the latest?
I just say quite a few of the videos that we shared, ideas that we shared that people are doing. Most schools seem to be closed, or they're just not talking about it. So I'm assuming people are kind of doing the responsible thing and closing, even though they don't want to.
Yes.
I think it's really a poor choice. I just saw something online, and someone made a post saying that she had caught the virus and it's no worse than a common cold. Of course, she was young and she was healthy and this and that, and that's probably all true.
Right. That's all right.
I was saying to Scott that there was a near viral video of some jiu-jitsu people who were rolling, and the comments were not kind to them, and they were being defensive a little bit, and a lot of it. I don't think the social stigma is going to be kind to you if you choose to have any version of class at all. Even there have been a lot of suggestions of private lessons or 10-foot spacing, and Yeah,
I think putting anybody together, space or no space, is going to end up being frowned upon more and more. Like, it really isn't about the healthy people. It's about the unhealthy people. So.
Right.
Well, and we're officially by decree of the mayor shut down anyway. Now, fortunately, we did it voluntarily the day before, but we can't operate gyms, restaurants, and bars. So it's only a matter of time until that happens where you are. And I've heard of some municipalities having fines and jail time for doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think people are really concerned now about the time, and people are trying to guess how long this is going to last. When people first decided to close, they're thinking about maybe 2 weeks. Now the schools down here in Florida, not the martial arts schools, but the academic schools, they're done for the year. The kids are finishing with teachers putting together finishing classes for online. So they're not talking about going back until next August.
Right. And I don't think that's what, like, when the regular business is open, when the gym's open, when that's allowed again, I don't think that we're going to be following school districts as if it's a bad weather day. I don't, that's not practical, so I think we're so used to following school districts, we're even more concerned.
Right. I think what's really happened is you have to kind of watch that curve and how many new cases. Cases are still rising really high, and there's no way that things are going to calm down until that curve starts dropping the other way and there's a reduction in cases or no new cases coming.
Right. And unfortunately, new cases are happening because tests are becoming available. Yeah. Like, the cases are already there, but it's having to be reported. Yep. So before it can die down, we have to have more reports.
Yeah, and I think that it's probably best for everyone to find the worst case scenario that an expert is suggesting and prepare for that. It feels like, good Lord, it feels like forever ago. Just 7 days ago, I did our Thursday workshop, and I did it over online preparation, and it was with Rainmakers, and my suggestion was, let's do this challenge group, which is working. I have a lot of people in my challenge group. But that was a suggestion because you got to close for a little bit. Like, right. That's no longer the reality.
Right. No, I see very good success so far with people switching. And when I say success, I mean success in positive response from their members, their students, parents, things like that. I see great participation numbers as far as doing classes online. I really think that the engagement with Zoom is a positive thing. I think If it's too complicated for you, which it's really a pretty simple process, if you just take a few minutes to learn it and push through the learning curve, the ability to see your students while they're interacting with you in class is very powerful. If that can't work, there is Facebook Live, there is YouTube Live. You can just record classes and put them online. I don't think that's best, but I also think you got to get started.
Yeah.
There's no longer the ability to wait.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I feel like we're behind the ball because I don't have it 100% set up and running, and a lot of people do. But like Joe here said, what's the best choice? Freezing memberships, discounts, etc. And we talked about that last time.
Let's talk about it. Yeah. So first of all, you shouldn't be freezing memberships. Period. Now there are going to be exceptions. I completely understand that. But when we've started to hear some people that are wanting to freeze everyone's membership, and it's been a week. So we need to slow down. And first of all, remember that you should have a membership policy in place that says what happens when people miss class. And one of those things is that you add time onto the end of your membership. The second one could be that you add time on to the beginning or end of classes when they resume, or you can also add classes on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that are currently not in place to allow people to move, quicker, have a third or a fourth class, especially if you could do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday where they could do 2 classes or more back to back. I think people will really find that powerful, number one, because they can be dropped off and other things can be done while people are taking class. They can take they've got a lot of advantages and benefits to that.
So you're talking a few different ways so far. Just if people are taking notes so they can make this clear when they communicate with their students. So one is when this is over, they can do makeup class. They can take twice as many classes.
Yes.
If they want another option, the option is for any time that they missed, that time is going to be added on to the end of the program. So
Correct.
if they miss 5 weeks, we add 5 weeks on to the end of the program.
Yes.
Someone else mentioned, I thought this is a pretty good idea. If people weren't happy with that, you could give them some type of credit that they could use for parents' night outs. They could use for testing fees. So they're still paying their membership. I don't want to make those classes up. I'm too busy. What else could I do? Okay, well, we can just add on give you a credit for $200. You can use that for inter-school tournaments, things like that. So I thought that was a fairly good option also.
Yeah, I like that. Any of your paid events, workshops, that kind of thing.
Well, and even if you're not in the position to have that kind of agreement where they don't necessarily have the flexibility to stop paying, but you're going to be nice enough to give them that credit. Even if you did set up month to months and unlimiteds where you're in a sticky position, don't assume, like you said yesterday, like Scott said yesterday, don't assume that everybody instantly wants to cancel. Like, you're freaking out. They may not even be thinking about it yet. Yeah. So if you have 100 students, how many might be super excited to be on online classes? Don't assume that it's no one. It might be 75 of your 100 students are really excited to keep supporting Miss Sally. And
more will become excited about it as they're stuck.
Yep.
Yeah, because part of this is martial arts are very goal-oriented because we train all our students to be goal-oriented. So telling them that the whole idea is to keep them in track of their testing and the progress, and this is a way to do it, is to do the online classes. This way, when everything resumes and we get back into a graduation and we have our big back to a business party or grand opening party, they're going to want to do that.
Well, yeah. I even used the phrasing in the email that I sent yesterday. As I said, here's the deal. I'm not going to let this terrible situation get in the way of your black belt, right? I'm not going to let this stop you from getting your black belt. You guys that are already black belts, I'm not going to let this stop you from your training. So I will see you on Monday in our virtual classroom, et cetera. So let's really putting it on on making the assumption, because if I make an assumption, people often will want to agree with that making the assumption that they are going to want to continue to get their black belt. What has changed? They came to class 2-3 times a week, and they whack themselves in the elbow right here with their nunchucks all the time, and yet they still come back to class.
It's right here.
Oh yeah, here, and then somebody did their knee the other day in my class, and they just fell to the ground crying, right? And all the parents are like, "Bravo!" But they do all that. Parents go through traffic. It's trafficy in Tulsa, in my little area of Tulsa. It's bad. Parents do that a couple times a week, and we're going to assume that they don't want to come to karate. Let's not make that assumption.
Right. They're going to want to take advantage of any time available where they can have some structure and activity going on, whether it's online or not. So online classes are going to be becoming more and more accepted and popular.
Yeah.
So this is all part of what we started calling yesterday financial self-defense. I mean, we have to have some type of income coming in. So we have to do is devise this service so people still pay for their memberships. So you could pay for your rent and you can still take some type of paycheck, because a lot of people are in a position where they live kind of paycheck to paycheck. So if that's the case, it's really important to offer an alternative type of service where they still see value and they're willing to pay. If you have a real good culture in your school and your students absolutely love it, love all the other people associated with the school, we have to tell them about that too, because they want to have a school to come back to.
Right.
And if people just decide, hey, we're not going to pay, they're not going to have a school to come back to. So I think there should be some loyalty within the school to say, hey, I don't think this is the funnest thing to do is to pay when I can't go, but I understand this is my responsibility, so we have a school to go back to.
Well, and everyone has that top line economic fear right now in their brain of what's going to happen. And if you say, look, guys, if I don't have any students, we've got a Miss Melissa and a Miss Camry and who are instructors. I don't want to let them go. So can you guys show up to class so that they can teach you? Because they need a job, right? And we don't have to say it like that, but everyone has that economic fear on their mind. So let's give them a way to do their part to help with that.
Yeah, I think again, something we mentioned yesterday is that they need to hear from you first.
Yep.
You can't wait to state the policies and the solutions until they come to you and say, I want to cancel my payments. That's too reactionary. I mean, you can still handle it, but it's much more to your advantage to be proactive and talk about the solutions that you're going to make available to them before they ever come to you.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some questions in here about the park, doing classes in the park. I think in the end, people we're trying to be reined into staying away from group situations, period, right? Regardless of whether you're 5 feet away or 10 feet away. So you might start out that way, but I think that would be based on what kind of participation you can get. I would not do that and not do online classes.
Mm-hmm.
I would start with online classes regardless if you do something at the park or not.
And there are plenty of parks that are closed down because of that. That's the whole point.
And most of the time, like a lot of people don't know, but you're supposed to have a permit to do any kind of organized type of thing like that. If as entrepreneurs and business owners, a lot of times we kind of just look past that kind of stuff when we do what we have to do, right? But it might be more extreme. The price may be more extreme. Right?
Yeah. I don't want the Parks Authority rolling up on my karate class and telling everybody to go home. That's no good. And if that was your plan and it has that big vulnerable link in it, like ignoring the fact that it is still going to participate or it's still going to add to the virus problem. If that's your plan and it has this big potential problem of you might not be able to do it there, I don't think that's a good plan.
Yeah. What about after school?
CDC has not recommended child care centers close down yet. What we've done is give our after school members day camps for free. So we are closed down. We are fortunate to have a big space. We do have our kids kind of spread out.
We're headed to Black Man.
See here, they just rotated out to Black Man. If you guys heard that. So CDC has not recommended that yet. I'm going to follow CDC recommendations. As soon as they say child care centers have to be shut down, or until the city says child care centers shut down, there are still parents that have to go to work. So what we've done, and this was my wife's suggestion, is no, day camp is not free. Your after school tuition is now paying for day camp. Big difference. Well, I don't need day camp, right? Well, that's okay. You don't have to do day camp. Your after school tuition is paying for day camp. You have a space if you need it. Okay, well, we just want to cancel after school. Okay, like my after school, you can cancel anytime you want to with no fees or penalties. But when you come back, you're going to have to pay a registration fee, and you don't get a new member discount, $479. So maybe, Mr. Johnson, you should wait until TPS announces that they really are going to be out for the entire year. So hold off. If you're white collar and you get to work from home, are you sure you're going to want your kid there all day while you work from home? Because you might want to take advantage of day camps that your tuition is now covering. Yeah. That's not going to work for all 70 of my kids. I'm going to have 10, 20 quits, but I'll probably have 50 to stick around.
Yes. So as long as what did you say, CDC?
Yeah, CDC childcare recommendations. And in fact, I can find that link for you guys. I'll look for it here in a second. It's in my updates. I've also got an update on my website that every day we've got an update going on. But right now, because after school is a huge part of our income, and it is an issue right now, but people still need childcare. So
we just had our first case where a 6-year-old got the flu. That's been on the news because it's kids seem pretty resilient against it.
Yes.
But we had a 6-year-old here in Palm Beach contracted.
So the coronavirus or flu?
No, coronavirus.
Oh, got it. Okay.
All right, Mr. Silva, you want to rein us back in and keep us going in the right direction?
Yeah. Before we start, I know quite a few people put in questions in the chat, but let's kind of continue in with our financial self-defense. Saying that things do go a little bit bad and you get behind on some payments and you have to talk to your landlord. Okay. And how to do that. One of the first things we talked about yesterday was if you have to talk to your landlord, ask him or her if they have any plans for helping the businesses in your plaza or in your building. Because if you had to close down, you can tell them that your income's been cut down. You can send them a letter showing that you have canceled all your classes because of the CDC. And now how are they planning on helping you? So before you try to negotiate anything, just see if they have anything to offer. Because you may want to go in there and say, hey, I can't pay this month. And they've already had a plan to, slow down the payments for the next 3 months. So listen to what they have to offer first. And then if you have to negotiate, we were talking yesterday about making sure you negotiate something that they're going to probably say yes to. If you just say, I'm not going to pay for 6 months, they're probably not going to say yes to that. But if you say, I need 6 months free, after the 6 months, I will pay an increased amount of rent to catch all that up before the end of the lease. So that benefits you in the short term, which is what you really want. And it benefits them because they're going to get their money. So they're more likely to say yes to something like that.
And think about you being the client of the landlord, the customer of the landlord. You have these karate student customers. So like you, as we're saying, hey, everybody be proactive and reach out. If your landlord hasn't reached out to you, they're thinking the same thing. They're thinking, oh my God, what are we going to do when nobody can pay rent, right? So if your people reached out to you and you said, yes, here's the plan. You reach out to the landlord and they say, here's the plan. Rather than you just immediately sending in your rent check when you don't know what your income is going to be like and burning through any savings that you have. If you reach out to your landlord and they say, yes, we're suspending all payments until whatever, they may not voluntarily say that to everyone. They may only say it to the people who asked. And they may just keep collecting the checks and assume, well, these people have good savings, so here we go.
One thing that you're probably going to have to pay, even if they say yes to a period of free rent, is charges that they have that are coming in, like CAM charges. CAM charges your triple net. So you're probably still going to be paid maintenance fee and taxes, things like that. That's a small part of the bill when you get your rent check or your rent bill, but you're probably going to be at least paying that. So there will be some type of cost, which led into what we're talking about yesterday also. What if you do need funds? You're in a position now, I need some funds. What would be available now that we know of? We don't really know the plans of the government, how they're going to try to just bail out small businesses. Line of credit, second mortgage on your house. Any ideas, Mr. Dolloff?
Yeah, I think number one, I would start with your membership. I would see who wants to save money on their tuition, offer, 12 months of lessons for X amount, either 10 months, pay for 10 and get 12 months, so 2 months free, or pay for 12 months, get 2 months free. So it's a total of 14 months. We've seen people increase their revenue by 5,000, 10,000. We've seen 15,000 in a week. And I'm comfortable recommending something like that when it's 12 months over something like a 36-month program or something like that, because I know personally the cash flow issues it can create if you get too aggressive on longer prepays. In addition to that, line of credit, yes, have your paperwork together, have your accounting work together, find out what they need to see as far as your bank is concerned. Start with your bank, but don't think that you can't go and get a line of credit with another bank. You may have to become a depositor, meaning you may have to open a checking account and put your deposits in that bank. But just because you don't have a relationship with the bank right now does not mean you can't get a line of credit with them. Last resort would be to remortgage my house. I would keep those things separate. Like,
I think I would bag groceries before I would remortgage my house to save my school.
Yeah. A couple of things when you're saying going to the bank, I think it's really important. If you haven't done your taxes so far this year, the bank's going to want to see your most recent tax. And if you have, the only thing you have is 2018 taxes, they're going to want more than that. So it may be something that you want to address now, because they're going to want to see some type of paperwork.
Yeah, even if they see P&Ls, balance sheets, checking statements, and probably if you've got 2018, you probably want to bring 2017, 16. If the numbers look like they're going up or at least consistent, that's going to be in your favor as well. There is another solution. If banks are not going to be the solution for you, your payment processor usually has some type of program where they do cash advances against your monthly, your average monthly revenue that's processed through them.
Okay. Let's go back to your first one, because I really liked it, because each month we have, I'm sure people have people coming up this month that need to be upgraded or renewed. You're not having classes, but because of this challenge, they do have an opportunity to save some money. So you should reach out to them like they're normally taking classes. Your program's up. This is a good time to renew your program, because you're going to get 2 months free if you pay a year in advance.
Absolutely. And I would use Zoom. I would offer them an online link to purchase. You can do that through profit generators or whatever, solutions you have, but don't create a gap between being able to ask them and then when they actually can pay you. Like, be prepared to either take that over the phone or send them a link right then and let them go ahead and process that payment. That's one mistake I see a lot of is when you offer things online, for instance, they're not letting people register online. They're promoting online, but not registering online. This is the same thing. I am not saying you should be promoting this by putting out a Facebook post. That's not the right method to get this done. You need to have one-on-one conversations, but a face-to-face like this may be even more powerful than just a phone call or text messages. Because that's where I think people are going to lean, is just text messages. I would start a conversation with a text message and try to bring it to a Zoom if I could.
Especially if they've already got Zoom because they've already been participating in classes. isn't that easy. Now they're comfortable with it.
Absolutely.
I can't see looks like 17 people have chatted in. I don't know if you want to spend some time because answering specific questions.
Sure.
I am. Jane said that should we create online class at the same time as our regular classes offered? What do you think?
Absolutely. I may offer more, but I would at least offer them at the same time. They don't have to be as long. They really don't. They don't have to be as long. They could, if your class is 45 minutes, normally you could do a 25, 30-minute class.
Well, we can ramp up. I saw somebody use the term phase 1 versus phase 2 versus phase 3, and I think that over deliver, under promise, over deliver. We're gonna do our very first class is gonna be 10 minutes. Hey guys, we're gonna do this, this, and this, and then over delivering a little bit is fine. But if you say we're gonna have a 45-minute class and you haven't practiced 45 minutes teaching online, you might not do so well. We want to set ourselves up for success. And also understand that people are not, this is all brand new. We're what are we, 5 days into this insanity or whatever for like online classes. So
right.
People don't have huge high expectations. They've never taken a karate class online. You are showing them what it is. So you don't have to start it insanely like super detailed and complicated. You start it real simple. And then as you get better at it, if you want, you can make it longer, more complicated.
Absolutely. Yeah. But getting started rather than waiting until you get proper, perfect lighting and perfect backdrops, don't do that. Like, get started. Somebody asked about how much is Zoom. Zoom right now, I believe, is free, literally free. It's not a free trial. It's free. But even if it's not, I think like $14 to $19 a month. It's well worth, that to offer your online classes. As far as questions around if you offer online classes, do you need to offer the other solutions? I would say that you should offer the other solutions to see which one they want to take advantage of, right? Whether it's add time onto the end of the membership or participate in online classes. I don't think that matters as long as you're giving them solutions that keep them involved in their membership, right?
If you
Meaning
pay. Pay. If you present, here is how our classes are formatted now. We have to think, what percentage of people are going to say no? Who's this, Joe? No, Joe, I don't like that. It's not going to be 80%. So you may only have to deal with the 10% who think, no, that's not for me. Okay, would you like to add the time on at the end? Then another 5% say, oh, that's a great idea. Now you only have 5% of your student base that actually canceled.
And don't be concerned if someone wants to do online classes and they want to make up time. Don't be concerned about that. If they're going to continue to pay, like, let them have it. It's of no cost to you. Make them happy, right? Keep the cash flow going.
Yeah, I think it's really important because you're doing the online classes, but the other classes, that live class you missed, are still going to be given to you or still been credited to you.
Absolutely.
That's excellent. Yeah.
Because one of the things that online classes is supposed to do is keep people in routine. Routine is breaking routine is the death of your memberships. More than anything, more than even boring classes, because boring classes create a break in routine, right? But the minute someone misses a class, it becomes easier to miss the class the next time. And I'm not just talking about the student, I'm talking about the parent. Yep. Parents that miss taking their kids to a class once or twice find that it is enjoyable not to have to make that drive after they've been working all day. It is a dangerous, slippery slope. So to keep online classes going so that they stay in routine of doing class, it should be done regardless of makeup policies.
Well, and you guys may not be, maybe you don't have kids of this age. Maybe this hasn't been your experience. My wife, who does stay home with the kids, and most of her friends who do, are like 4 p.m. is when I think I might want to, end my life. I hate my kids. Why did we have so many kids? I hate my husband because he's not here. I hate my kids. So like 4 p.m. is like, yes, you can get on the screen and go take a karate class. Absolutely.
It's kind of like day camp.
Right. kids, like people will ask us, how do you not curl? A bus driver one time at summer camp asked me, do you curl up in a ball and cry yourself to sleep at night? I'm like, no, I love this. I like kids, right? And she's like, so like not every parent wants to spend all day with their kids. So that would they pay $129, $159, $199 to have something structured? They're trying to tell their kids, no, you can't have screen time right now. They don't want their kids who are not in school to watch TV all day long and play video games all day long. To say yes to screen time that's constructive, I think you guys are underestimating how powerful that could be for a parent.
Yeah. So we had a couple other questions. One is, save the Zoom as a set of classes. Yes, you could do that. I do recommend doing the classes live, getting as many people involved live as you can, because you're going to be able to coach them. Is it better than Facebook Live? The truth is you can do both at the same time. You can have one device for Facebook Live. You can have another device for Zoom that's both, you've got two different angles going on. And then the other question that I see and that we've seen before is, sound okay? Everybody hear me? Okay. I heard a little skip. The other thing is that people want to know if they should protect those classes from anybody else being able to participate. And I'm going to tell you, my answer is no. You should let anybody participate that wants to participate. It's not going to take away from the people that are paying. It's going to provide a public service to your entire community. And the truth is that if other people get involved, you're more likely to have an influx, a surge, powerful surge of new enrollments from outsiders, from friends, and additionally siblings and parents that always wanted to try it, but don't necessarily feel like they can. But now behind the scenes at home where they're comfortable, they can now get involved and actually do martial arts, right?
Yeah.
And find out that it is possible, that it's not so hard, that they actually can do it. And so you're going to end up much better off in the end if you just make it available to as many people as possible. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to promote martial arts and the benefit of martial arts, not hoard it. Right? Don't keep it just for the special few. Promote it to everyone. Get more people involved, and they will come in. They will get involved. They will enroll.
Can you take attendance?
Absolutely, you can take attendance.
I got Johnny, I got Sally, I got Billy. Check, check, check. I've got my Rainmaker out right here. Boom, boom, boom. Right?
Yep.
I would send good job notes. Same thing. If I see someone in uniform, everyone else has T-shirts on and got a guy in uniform, send him an attaboy.
Yes, and that's another thing I wrote down. Listen, when you're doing videos, when you're doing announcements, things like that, you need to be still in position. You need to still be playing the part. Can't just be in a sloppy T-shirt with your hat on. And if that is not the way you look professionally when you're at your academy, then don't look that way on video. It can't be less formal just because it's online. It has to be just as formal.
Yep. Yep. One of the things, like you said about keeping it open and letting everybody do it, when I heard somebody say in the before time, back when we had a marketing Parthenon that consisted of community events and referrals and birthday parties and P&Os, and all of a sudden all of these things have been taken away, and now we have online, right? Well, but
yes,
we can split that up, and now we can have a free Facebook group and Zoom classes and Facebook Lives and YouTube, and now we have this new style of Parthenon.
And teach people how to bring their friends into these online classes.
Correct.
Teach them how to invite them. Teach them how to pass on that link. Get them involved.
Yep.
There's always opportunities.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Just got to be solution oriented.
So somebody said pass on the cost of Zoom to a student. I think you should eat $19.99 a month to keep any student you can.
Absolutely.
I think you should pay for the best Zoom version that you can afford, because those are now your Swain mats or your Zebra mats or your whatever. That is now your link That's your environment. You know, that's your link to your students.
Yeah, and don't over respond, right? Like you may see some memberships that get canceled, but I think you have to pay attention to your numbers and your normal numbers and understand that last month you had cancels too. And the month before that you had cancels too. So you may not be seeing any more cancels than you already see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether that's freezes, whether that's cancels or anything else. Like it may not be as extreme yet as it feels. It's gonna, the endless nature of it is concerning, but it's not something to over respond to just yet.
So somebody said Zoom versus Hangout by Google. I think the answer there is what is in the zeitgeist at the moment. Everywhere you turn, it's Zoom. Like the joke with college students is, I'm gonna graduate from Zoom University. Like that, Zoom is everywhere. So I don't want to try to use a technology that is not being talked about on the radio and in colleges and on the TV. Everyone is talking about Zoom. So I think we should go where people are comfortable.
Right. And Jane, you're right. You're not bringing in new members, so start bringing in new members. You can sign people up online just the same as these online classes. You can do private lessons. You can do introductory classes. You can do it. I promise you, people will enroll just having this kind of conversation. But your business is not completely reliant just on new members. I mean, you need it, and you're going to have a surge of it when you come back. So I get it. But
well, I can take my profit generator from Rainmaker, and I can keep my same process of someone wants to do martial arts. They see that, oh my gosh, my friend is doing virtual martial arts. How do I do that? I go to janeskarate.com and I see that I can sign up for a free class, and I put my information in and I click go, and it says, we're so excited to see you at 4 p.m. at this link, right? Like,
yes,
I can automate that process, and they can show up, or it can say, please click this link 5 minutes before 4 p.m. What do? I say, please show up a little bit ahead of time. We'll meet you at the front desk. We'll show you where you need to go. I'm going to say all these things to this person. If it's a group intro, maybe you do a private intro, however you want to do it. It's just virtual.
Live classes, if you can do live classes versus recorded. Record the live classes and offer those recordings after the fact. But live classes are going to be better. As far as what William is talking about, make sure if you decide that you want to offer these classes, these private lessons or introductory lessons, enrollment conferences, things like that, you need to treat them with the same respect that you do when someone shows up at your business. It's very important. Do the reminders, do the confirmations, be professionally dressed, whatever professionally dressed is for you, right? Yep. Whatever it is that you usually look like at your academy, that's the way it should continue to be. But treat them with the same respect. Don't downgrade your image or how you treat these lessons because they're online versus in person.
And do you have a front desk person who is doing these confirmation calls, or is it you, whether it's them or you? All you have to do is change your confirmation call because you shouldn't be just confirmation calling. You should be pre-framing, potentially price dropping. You should be doing these things that we do to make sure that someone is going to enroll on their first class, as opposed to just see if they like it. And then when that happens, we can say, now, are you familiar with Zoom? Well, do you have 2 minutes for me to walk you through it? Here, I'm going to send you this PDF. One of my friends sent me a little thing that they had made of like step 1, step 2, step 3. It was just an image. There are creative ways to make sure that person is comfortable. And boy, I sure enjoyed talking to Julia on the phone. She really made me feel comfortable. Now I know what to do. That's my wife's biggest concern is I don't know what I'm supposed to do when I take my kid to this new gymnastics class. I don't know what I don't want to mess something up. I don't want to be doing it wrong. So let's change that confirmation call to be a Zoom installation call, right?
Right.
Or whatever.
Really
right. Jane's asking about jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is no different. Yes, there is only so much you can do without a partner, but there is a lot you can do without a partner. there are a lot of drills, a lot of transitions, a lot of movement drills that can be done without a partner. And then if they have someone at home, they can have a partner.
Yep.
Right? Get that person involved.
You should, every jiu-jitsu school should double their member base, because every husband is going to grab their wife and every wife is going to grab their husband.
Yes, but it is position before submission. So spend more time on the transitions and the positions and the movement to get before, right? We go for the submission, the choke, the whatever. Like you can make it work.
It's also excuses versus results. We have 118 parkour kids. We're running online parkour classes. People are excited about it. I don't know what we're gonna do yet, but we're gonna make it work, right?
Yeah.
Like people like online parkour classes. Yes,
absolutely. You know, Muay Thai, they say the same issue as jiu-jitsu. Absolutely, it's the same. It's the same for everybody, though. It really is. You're going to drill. If it's in the air, drill. That's okay. I know this thing is probably 20 years ago that outsold any of us ever combined, and it was Taibo. You can teach Muay Thai online until you don't have to.
Man, Billy had something to say about that, didn't he?
Absolutely. You can do it. Be resourceful, make it happen. Like you have no choice. So get good at teaching online.
That was the best motivational speech I've ever heard. Friday Night Lights right here. Because it is. Have you ever watched an actual, like, we all joke about it, but have you ever watched him? He's like he's doing it, and then he's pointing at the screen, and he's like, you can do it, pick those knees. He's pretending to talk to you at home.
Yep,
pick those knees up. I see you, move those feet. You can do this. Like, and he didn't have Zoom interactive.
Right. He didn't have that luxury.
VHS.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got a little wrapped up. Sorry about that.
That was awesome.
Okay.
No,
there.
that's so true. If he sold that on a VHS tape and a late night infomercial, then we can sell with all of the tools that we have available to us. And I really think that if this is an 18-month lockdown, which I don't think, hopefully it's not, but like that's like the worst case scenario. Let's just worst case scenario. Like people aren't going to want their kids to have positive activities. And one of the things that we're going to do is make sure that we shift hard into character development and leadership training, because that's something that can be done one-on-one, and that we can give parents checklists for, that's what parents want martial arts for anyway. They're not really excited to see their kids sidekick their neighbors in the neck. They're excited to see them interact with their friends in a positive manner.
There's lots of examples of online universities. There's Gracie's. There's lots of examples of people that are being successful with it.
Excellent job, guys. That was good information.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you everybody for being on the call today.
And I'm sure you're gonna post this recording.
I'm going to post this recording in the new group, and I'll give it to you as well for the other group, and make sure everybody gets it.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.